welcome to Men to MD. I'm Tina.
Aliah.
And we're so excited to have Aliah's amazing friend, Marian, today on our
Hello.
channel. What's up, yo?
So I'm really excited to have Marian on our channel. Marian's an amazing nurse. She cares for her patients so much. She serves in so many different parts of our country, and she's just been hands-on throughout this pandemic. She has such a big heart, and I'm just excited to have a friend who also loves service and loves to just be a part of healthcare on our channel. And it's cool because we're on our journey to MD, and she has been a nurse for over 5 years now, right?
Yeah.
So we get the perspective from like med students and a whole nurse. So
it is literally an honor and a pleasure to be here. I already told them I'm their number one fan. I watched their YouTube videos. So them having me as a special guest, I really truly feel honored, and like I love being here. This is my first YouTube video, so I'm kind of excited.
YouTube video.
So thanks for having me, guys, and like I'm excited to do this mukbang with y'all.
Yes.
So
we're doing a mukbang.
She really is.
Surprise! Yeah, surprise!
Video with everyone and just discuss what we've been through med school and nursing school and just our journey so far, and just share a meal with each other and everyone watching.
Yeah, and Tina, can you tell us what we eating today? Because we are actually doing an Indian food mukbang, y'all.
All right. Okay. I know this is rice.
Wow. Okay, sorry. We're
This
gonna
looks
open
like chicken.
everything. Ooh.
Okay, that's your goat sog.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, let me
really
present this to the video. What's this, Tina? That I think that looks like chicken.
Tandoori, maybe?
Chicken tikka?
Tandoori chicken.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
That's probably the goat curry.
Ooh.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And then this is actually dessert, so we're gonna move it over, but I'm gonna let you pronounce it so I don't butcher it.
That is gulab jamun.
Okay.
And then this one's the vegetable, I forgot what it's called. Fried. Is it pakora? Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So how do we do this, guys? I guess we can like just
sanitize our hands first.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. When you walk into a patient's room, you always perform hand hygiene.
Sorry. Oh yeah. Say it again. Say it louder for the people in the back. I'm just playing.
Hello, my name's Marian. I'm gonna be your nurse today. How are you feeling?
Student Dr. Aliah here, and I'm just gonna sanitize my hands before I have the privilege of shaking yours. Exactly how I say it.
All right.
Anyways, we should probably just pass it around. What do you say?
Oh, I just said I'm Student Dr. Chatterjee. Nice to meet you. I'm just gonna sanitize my hands before I shake yours.
Yeah, that's sweet too. You have a nice inflection in your voice, you know. They knew you were serious about hand hygiene. Okay.
Yep. Do you want the Indian rice or the this is jasmine, by the way.
Oh, okay.
I can if you want to just pass me your plates and then.
Oh wow, we're being served. See? Oh my gosh, so sweet.
Who wants to talk about their medical journey first?
Well, they've kind of heard a little bit about our journey in our first
yours.
video. Marian, we kind of want to hear like, why did you choose nursing? Like,
okay. I love to hear that question because, well, actually, it gives me anxiety because that's the question that managers ask me during interviews.
Oh gosh, I know we're interviewing you right now.
Oh yeah, what made me become a nurse? Okay, so it started in high school. I didn't know if I wanted to become a nurse at the time. I joined the Health Sciences Academy. My mom kind of pushed me towards that direction. Out the door, hey, you should like try this Health Science Academy and see how you like it. So then I joined the Health Science Academy in high school, and sophomore year, 10th grade, I went to like a medical missions trip with my family. We went to the Philippines, and we pretty much did like a pop-up clinic. We had a pharmacy that we set up on a tent, and we had like lots of medications that we like put into like baggies because we bought the meds in bulk, and then pretty much we did triage in the slums of Davao in Mindanao, and just like pretty much just like having that medical missions experience, I loved it. Like I loved serving others. I loved finding my joy in serving others, and I was in 10th grade at the time that summer, so like I was doing patients' vital signs.
Yes.
While my mom was like being the nurse, she was doing like her assessments and stuff, and she pretty much would tell like patients, okay, you need this medication, you need this vitamin, and all of that based on her assessment. So like I loved seeing like the kids' faces like light up whenever they saw us, and then they're like, you speak English. They like loved they like loved us being there, and like it was such an awesome experience that like I'll never forget. And I was like, okay, I think I am gonna become a nurse, and so that's pretty much where my passion came from. And I feel like my heart is still like in like international like missions, international like nursing. But like with COVID, it's just been like a vision that has been blurred. So.
Not blurred, just maybe kind of put on hold in the extent that you would like it to be, but you know, you can still kind of make a plan for when you'll be able to go physically to local communities. But I know you still impact local communities through your service in other ways too, and through church and through just like donations. So you're doing a good job, sweetie.
Yes, thank you. We're still waiting pretty much like for the Philippines to open up its borders, because they still have to do like a 10-day quarantine. I know. So like it's actually funny because I talked about this with Aliah, like, okay, Aliah, when you become a doctor, like we can totally do like our own like pop-up clinic like in the Philippines, and then I can also go to Cameroon too, and I can be y'all's nurse. I can be y'all's
we can go to India, like we could go to different countries.
We need
the OB specialist, radiologist,
and then the nurse, I'll triage y'all's patients.
We can invite some of our classmates who
Let's
might be
do
interested.
Yes.
Have our little annual reunion in a different country, serving communities. I love it.
My grandma has a house in Davao, so like housing's covered. Just gotta like figure out flight and stuff, and like we can literally do it. Like it's possible anywhere.
Let's get it, y'all. So, Marian, we appreciate you sharing with us your story about why you chose, to launch into a career in health sciences, and specifically nursing. We see that you had a heart for it for a very long time, and the fact that you pursued this calling is really encouraging. I think, like, for us, we have a very long journey to get to, I want to say, the other side, where we get to, like, really manage patients on our own, but it's encouraging to hear other people's stories and other people's reasons why they chose their field. Would you, if you could like go back in time, would you still choose nursing?
Yes. I don't see myself doing anything else, honestly, because I always think about that question, like, if you were like in another life, like, what would you be if you weren't a nurse, or what would you guys be if you weren't like in med school, or where would you be if you weren't in med school right now? Like, I always think about that question all the time, and so like, I mean, I don't imagine seeing myself doing anything else. And I don't know, if I was a nurse, maybe I'd be like a teacher. I don't know.
Oh yeah, the thing about medicine is like you have to be like wearing many hats, right? Like even as a nurse, as anyone in a healthcare field, to educate your patients. So you are kind of a teacher in that sense. You have to do research on a disease or diseases you're managing, so you're a researcher. And then you have to just be on top of like studying and knowing the management of the disease for yourself. So like it keeps you on your feet all the time so that you're at the best for your patients.
And treatments change like all the time.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Medicine, just like any field of medicine, whether you're a doctor, whether you're a nurse, you always have to keep up with the new updates. Of course, like, your basic medicine won't change, like, anatomy, physiology, but there's so many new drugs developed every day.
Yeah.
You have to know all of their mechanism and side effects and everything.
And then you have to readjust, and bacteria start having this resistance to the medication that you were previously giving. Cheers, guys. Cheers to being lifelong learners, y'all. Wait,
oh, wait. Let me open it.
Okay.
Cheers!
Cheers! It's also boomerang worthy, actually, to be honest.
Bottoms up.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. There was something else I wanted to ask Marian, and Tina, definitely jump in with any questions you have for her. But you said you wouldn't see yourself doing any other thing can you tell us like what has been the most fulfilling part of your career so far, and like what are the things that make it like just tough?
Okay, so fulfilling versus like the difficult times. I think the most fulfilling is like when at the end of the day, like my patients are like, thank you so much, just like words of gratitude. Just like to show a little appreciation, because you know healthcare is like a thankless job, a thankless career sometimes. So just like I don't mind doing things for you at all. Like I don't mind like being like your secretary, being your janitor, being your nurse at the same time, being your counselor, being like you know all these things, cleaning you up, or like cleaning up the room, and like or feeding you, like waitress, because that's how I feel like sometimes. But like yeah, I don't mind doing that at all. It's just like you know if you're appreciative, like I appreciate that of you being appreciative. Free food too, especially. No, but yeah, just like also when my patients open up to me, when we have those heart-to-heart conversations, I love that. I feel like that's like to me like the most fulfilling, and like when I have like those patients that are like grateful, and those who are forgiving of my shortcomings as well, because sometimes nursing can be like a very busy job. So them being like understand, thank you. Them being for understanding
so much.
Yeah,
so
there's a lot of
much.
behind the scenes
do a
work
lot
that
too.
I want to hear about, you know, from nursing, because one person told me like, you know, I'm confused. Like, do I choose nursing or becoming a physician? Because it seems like the nurses have more time with the patients and blah blah blah.
No, but I love how y'all have the autonomy to like make decisions, because like I sometimes like want to like suggest things to like a resident, like, do you just want to order this? And then they don't do that, and I'm like, okay, well I'm gonna call you again to order, like, because they order at night, they always order a one-time dose of like a medication that I need, PRN, like that I need like every couple hours, because the patient's gonna be complaining of pain again. If you're only gonna give me a one-time dose of oxy, like at least give me like 15 milligrams, or like at least give me like a good amount, because you're like 5 milligrams of oxy, 0.25 Dilaudid never does anything. Let me just tell you.
She said, "Let me just tell you." Well, I think you brought up a point that's interesting too. It's like we're all in this together. Like not one person can do every person's job, and that's important. Oh yeah, the naan.
Yeah, do you guys want some naan?
I do actually.
Yeah,
it's important because like we need someone who can be at bedside, doing bedside tasks, helping to administer medications. We need someone to like proofread to make sure that the medications that we're ordering are good. There's no contraindications. That the dosage is good. That we can reduce polypharmacy. We need someone to like help with PT, physical therapy, and then like assessing like how things are in the home for that patient. We need like social work to work behind the scenes on the things that we can't see with the patient and the patient's family. Like there are so many important parts of like health and wellness, and so like a physician and a nurse are not like the only people who can do go ahead who can do it. So it's just like for me, I love hearing the behind the scenes of a nurse. Like what is a day in your life right now working 7 to 7?
I was gonna ask
like I'm sorry, I stole your question. Yeah, tell us.
Like working night shift? Like, okay, so like my sleep schedule is way off, but I think I found a routine. This is actually my first contract, because I'm a travel nurse, by the way, and this is my first contract doing night shift, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. So what I found has been working for me is like I sleep the night before my night shift, and then I run errands during the morning, and then I take a Benadryl to make myself take a 3-hour nap in the afternoon, wake up, and then go to work. So that's pretty much like my life, or like how I adjust with my work schedule and stuff.
Amanda talks so much she hasn't even eaten. This is a whole mukbang. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna have her eat, and her and I are gonna start chatting.
Yeah, so I want to know really though, like, because I see residents go into these on-call rooms, and I don't know, do they really like take naps, or like do they try to have time for naps, and then also how many hours do they work total, and then like the residents that you've been shadowing, like what's it been like for you guys, and how helpful have they been with you as med students and stuff?
Yeah, I can take this one, and then Tina can hop in too. So I think it just depends. When I was on internal medicine, I don't think those doctors were really sleeping because there was just a lot going on, and you do have a call room, and you do try to stagger it out so that like someone else on the team can take their patient, and another person can take a patient, so you can rotate. But like even if you do try to sleep, like nursing will be calling you, you know, asking questions, or there might be something else going on that you need to address. So it's to me, my opinion was that I don't really know if these doctors were sleeping, and that was like, I mean, you're still doing your best because you have this long shift, and it's like if it's a night call is what I'm saying. Like I didn't know if they were sleeping because like they have, you know, you can have admissions overnight, and then also like even if you like didn't have any admissions, like maybe you're still catching up on notes from earlier in the day, or like there's med students around and you're wanting to find something to teach the med students. So, like, I think that maybe they do try to get a little bit of shut-eye, but they have, like, they're trying to communicate with each other, help out the different year residents. Like, maybe a senior resident is trying to be more awake to help the second and the first year residents. Like, you know, like, so I don't really know how they sleep. Like, that was one thing.
Someone just pulled out their IV and then they're still.
I know, yeah. So you have to stay awake though too. You don't want to have like a deep sleep and they're calling you, paging you, code blue, and you're not, and you're the on-call team and you're not there. Like,
well, because I feel bad sometimes when I ask the doctors like at 1 a.m. of like the small things. I'm like, I think this can wait till morning. I don't want to wake them up. Like, but there's also a gray area. Like, what's worthy of waking the doctor up or the resident? Are they even sleeping? You know, because they might not even sleeping. So I can just like page them and like be like, oh hey, what's up? Can you just add this medication?
Do you guys have any like, I guess meetings or communication between like the nurse team and then the resident physicians? So, like, look, to answer your question, like, what is appropriate?
So, at other hospitals,
a specific time.
Yeah, at other hospitals, there's interdisciplinary rounds where, like, you know those.
Yeah.
Doctors, nurses, PTOT, case manager, they're all together and stuff. So, like, at night, like, I'm literally just paging the doctor. That's how I communicate with them. And then doctors call me if they have questions about the patient and stuff. Yeah. So, and that's like a good thing about teaching hospitals is they have residents on call like 24/7. So, but then compared to like a small rural hospital, it's gonna be hard like paging the hospitalist at night because they're probably not there. Like they're probably at the house and stuff. Yeah, so it depends.
And we only know teaching hospitals really. We don't know like the.
As far as I remember, like most of the hospital rounding that I've done, we've had resident, the attending, us med students, and then a pharmacist. I don't think. Well, actually, no. There were some. I'm lying. There were some rotations where like it was more so like in-person rounding, not table rounding, where we would go to each patient's room, and then the nurses just like hovering around. Or they'll say like, "Hey, I have that patient," or like, exactly, "Are you the team?" And then they come in and join the team. I really like that. That was really nice.
I was at a hospital where they actually like, I don't know if it was just like, what's the name of the nurses, like over all the nurses?
Clinical nurse leader.
Clinical nurse leader was like coming in and she had like the list of all the patients in that area, charge nurse. And then she would just kind of be like, any changes. And she was always like kind of popping in, listening. But like in the beginning, before we even started, like she would come with the residents and the pharmacist was there and the social worker was there. And they were all just kind of like laying out like, okay, these will be the changes. And then like, I thought that was a really great way to communicate. And medicine, gotta communicate. Gotta communicate.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
I want to ask y'all, like, with COVID, how has medical school been different experience for you guys? Like, as far as, like, what's been different and how have you guys handled that?
Oh my goodness.
Well,
I think COVID started when we were in second year. Yeah. It was
when we were about to
finish our first year. And then COVID hit.
Yeah.
And I clearly remember this because I was going to go home. I'm from Canada, by the way. And I was going to go home for this summer, but that did not happen. And I was just hoping that I'd be able to go home by August, but nope. I haven't been home in 2 years, so.
Dang.
But I'm really hoping that the borders open this December. All of us are vaccinated, by the way, which is why we are doing this. We've gotten our boosters
tested COVID negative last week, so.
Awesome. But, yeah, so COVID started when we were finishing our first year, and honestly, like our second year or the first 2 years, you're essentially just like at home or the library studying after classes anyway. So to me, it didn't feel different. It didn't feel different from like second year didn't feel that different from first year. I have to say, I got more involved in like a lot of radiology organizations, projects, and stuff like that, and got to meet a lot of people across the country, even internationally, because things were virtual. So that was really, really nice. Other than that, we had to do like a summer project after our first year, and I was really hoping that it would not be canceled, because a lot of our classmates' projects, they started to be canceled because they were all in person, but thankfully the one that I got accepted to was not canceled. It was just transitioned into a virtual program, which was amazing, by the way. Because it was virtual, we also got to like meet so many radiologists, all of the students that were accepted into the program. But after that, we started, after second year, that was fine. Like, as I mentioned, I didn't really see any difference between the first and second year and the advent of COVID. But third year, oh my god.
Oh my god.
Sorry.
I don't think, but it didn't really affect us. I don't think. I feel like the year before us was very affected by COVID.
But across the country,
across the country at all medical schools, because they started their third year during COVID, but then they weren't able to start like their regular core rotations. They had to do their, at least for our school.
Things are so scary.
Yeah, they had to do their electives before, but it wasn't. It was, from what we've heard, it was a bit chaotic. So.
Because imagine, you can't really learn medicine virtually per se, but you can, they're able to do some electives or get some things done, which was helpful for them. But at the same time, it's like some of them were really excited. They had just like got their feet wet like 1 week in at a site, and they're like, nope, time to go back home. And like it was probably like, I mean, I don't know because I'm not exactly in their shoes, but I know that it must have been tough. Just being virtual, and like they've been so excited, like that anticipation of I've completed 2 years and now I can launch into my clinical duties and be a part of the clinical team. It's like, wait, hold on, COVID-19, no you will not. We don't know. And so I mean, you want to have students there, but you have to be safe. Like we've seen like how many deaths and casualties that we've had across the world with COVID-19, and it was just so scary, and it was just like we can't put the students at risk. And that wasn't just our schools, like across the country.
Yeah, across the country.
They're not going to just bring med students in. When first of all, med students, you're not really going to be an active part of the team in the sense of you can't really do much. So might as well stay home and be safe. I mean, there's learning that you can get in the hospital, but as far as being an active part of the team when people are literally dying and we still don't really understand like how to protect you besides the mask and the shields and PPE was getting scares, and it was just a lot going on.
A lot of it is observation.
Yeah.
But we still have like, at least in inpatient services, I love the teams that like allow us to present and allow us to like share our thoughts on the plan. Yeah. And then I was so happy because one doctor. Oh my god!
I love that. Yes, tell us.
I was presenting a patient to one of the physicians. This was at a clinic, but she had one day at like a nursing home. And so we were seeing patients there, and I saw one patient, I presented her, and then I talked about, like, we were discussing the plan a little bit, and then I'm like, instead of this, what if we try this? And she's like, yeah, that's actually not a bad idea. And she went with it.
I'm so happy. What was your plan? That's what I'm talking about. I love that. I love that. It makes me happy.
Yes.
I want to answer your question too, Marian. I feel like the pandemic was, interesting because on the one hand, we were just about to finish our second year in med school. Mm-hmm. We had some camaraderie with our classmates. Like things were pretty swell,
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, case down the street. But yeah, for me, I was just like, it was just overwhelming, like that sensation of what is going on. And then like Tina was mentioning, we were supposed to have summer research. And I was really excited about like being able to travel for my project. I'm grateful, like Tina, that my project wasn't canceled. They just readjusted for me, and that I was also able to pick up some other things. Like the fortunate thing for us as med students about the pandemic was the opportunity to like do things that maybe we wouldn't have had time for, like attend virtual conferences, have more time to apply for scholarships and do things like that. But it was tough. Like I remember, like we transitioned to the cardio unit, which is like one of the hardest units in medical school. And then after that, the renal unit, and you know, our professors were trying to readjust to how to administer exams to us and teach us online, and it was hard to focus, and being at home, sleeping, studying, working out, and eating in the same place every single day when I'm still not used to
and
that.
And just by yourself. It's just
by
yourself. Like, tough. I mean, a lot of people do have roommates, but I don't. And it was just like by yourself doing everything. It was nice to just go to class and like chat with your friends. Have that time. And listen to the lecture, and then go get lunch with your friends. And then, okay, we know we have to study the entirety after that anyways. But when it first started, we were just like,
we were like seeing each other virtually. And then one thing I did like was like we tried to like stay as connected as possible. Like even though we were in the same city, we couldn't like we were kind of like not really seeing each other at first. Because like also our school had a mandate of like not really being around people, you know. But like we had like Zooming to success, you know, like our little text group where we would like get on Zoom and do practice questions together, you know. And we had that text group and we encourage each other, and like we do I don't know, we just like work on assignments together just to make sure everyone like had a good understanding of the cases that week. And then like when we like transitioned out of that second year, we did rotating to success. So now we have like our little text group, and it's just cute, and it's like we have that support even still. But yeah, like it was tough at first for me, and then like I was disappointed about not being able to get out and be able to be at my physical research site. But like Tina said, like there were so many opportunities. She advanced a lot in radiology. I had opportunities to advance in terms of like the things I worked on over the summer as well. So like you know, I can't trade that portion for the world. And then we had times to volunteer. Like Tina and I volunteered together with some of our classmates at the at our college's like COVID-19 test site. We are so proud of our school. They did a lot of work across like our city to just like make sure people can get tested, and then after testing was making sure people can get the vaccine.
It's a very good system.
And so we were able to serve and just be a part of that. And I even was able to do work study for COVID-19, like entering the data of all the people who went to the sites. And so I'm like, yo, like we were actually able to be small active parts even in the midst of this pandemic, even in the midst of like how stressful med school is, and then transition to virtual. And like, I don't know. There was a lot going on this past year and a half.
Weren't you supposed to go to South Africa?
Yeah.
Was that one of the programs you were talking about? That got, okay.
Yeah.
Can I have a little bit more of the goat song? Actually, it's good.
All of these are pretty fire.
I have like a really good question.
Do med students gossip about nurses?
Oh.
I
have had no reason. And all nurses that I've ever experienced have been very kind to me.
There's some bad ones.
And I love nurses because my family who's in healthcare and nursing and stuff. So for me, I have no reason to be rude to anybody. Nursing, janitor, surgeon, attending, resident. I have no reason. Scrub techs.
I mean, I just like,
everybody just be nice.
Or like the clinic, just greet everyone. You know, you have those.
It's actually very good to do that.
It's not like nurses or like, oh my god, there's always the nurses that are so mean. It's just like some people have had just overnight call, and so there are those people, nurses, residents,
they might be tired or something.
Students, if they're on call overnight and they just want to go home, they've been there like, the entire night. Some people just the entire day. More than the entire day.
So do they complain like, oh, this nurse is calling me again?
Nurses will never call a med student, so there's that.
I'm not talking about like, so like those people, it's just when they're exhausted. It's like
I understand. Yeah,
I understand. Like,
residents just want to go home.
They want to go home. Even the nurses, like when they've been there for so long, and you guys deal with the patients. So,
I mean, we do some. Yeah, we do. We take most of the heat, but like, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like some of the
nurses talk about med students.
Yes, we do. We do. We talk about med students. We talk about residents. We talk about doctors.
Why are you so happy right now?
Some is good. Some is bad.
Oh, I feel like honestly, it's probably okay. This is what I think. This is what my impression is. I think that for the most part, most people want to be nice, but because like some residents or students might not know something, I feel like some nurses be like talking about you, and I feel like that's messed up because we're all still learning.
Yeah,
like dang.
Yeah, I mean,
he's agreeing with me. Steve?
No. Because it's also the same with nursing students. Like,
Okay.
like
Talk about nursing students. Don't talk about us.
yeah, the nurses station is just like a plethora. Is that the right word?
This is so good, guys.
It's just like the hub, the central social hub of like all things that has to do with the hospital.
I gossip.
I mean, yeah.
As long as you're not talking about me. No, I mean, to the best of my ability.
I don't think I talk about meds. No, actually, I don't gossip personally.
Most
I don't try
rude nurse or like someone just like. I would have appreciated if they said something in a more
different
nice
way.
I love med students.
It's mostly people that have just been there in the hospital for a very long time and they just want to go home.
Yeah,
and I understand that.
And I try not to be annoying. Like, I know, like, for example, like, I might be coming to ask something that's really minute or something, and they're, like, in the middle. They're like, well, I have 5 or 6 patients right now. Like, I can't help you with that, or I can't, or it's on the board, or you can look at the chart. Like, I don't take that personally because, you're right. I can go and look and see who I need to call who's actually over that patient, you know? Like, I can do that. Or, like, if I was asking something that was, like, they're like, oh, yeah, you can go ahead and do that. Like, I'm like, yes, definitely, I'll go ahead. My aunt's a nurse, and she was saying that, like, the med students who, like, actually, like, want to go around her and they're like, oh, show me how to stick an IV or, like, do stuff like that. She's like, she gets really excited about those students. She's like, this is a good student. They'll always come around and stuff like that and, like, learn things that not just the doctors don't necessarily, like, do. Like, we don't necessarily always, like, have to do an IV. But
yeah. That's why I love med students. Yeah, no, there's...
I really want to watch, like, observe it being done on a real person. Because we only got to practice on, a silicone
I did one on a real person. She was very gracious to me because I didn't stick her on the left. I had to stick her on the right. My attending was like, "You're gonna stick this IV today."
And did you get it?
And the nurse was like walking me through the steps and like encouraging me, and I was like freaking out. And it worked out, and she was very kind to let me do it.
Got it.
You should ask. So like, when you're in the OR, if you ask the surgeon or like, because you're doing OB right now, right? If just ask them, like, can I help? And then you don't have to be super specific, like, oh, can I do the suturing or this? Just like, can I help in any way? Some people will let you hold objects, some people will let you suture. I got to suture once.
Nice.
And the nurse was showing me, I'm like,
yeah, it feels good. Like, when I was on surgery, man, they will literally let you do a lot of stuff. Like, and the scrub techs are your friend because, like, if you're nice to them, if you're attentive, if you don't break sterility, or whatever, like, they're like your friend. Like, they give you so many practice.
Don't break the sterile field.
No, for real, because it's, like, safety of the patient, too. Like, we don't want any hospital-acquired infections in his place, okay?
Yeah. Why, if you break sterility, will they automatically not like you?
Not that, but you might get some yelling, like, now you have to scrub back in, or...
redo.
You're like... keeping your hands away from your body, and you're, like, making sure that when you're tired, you're like...
Yeah, scrubbing, when you're, like, scrubbing, you're starting to scrub.
Grey's Anatomy.
When you're learning to scrub, oh my god, I was literally there in OB before I scrubbed in for gyne surgery. I was there for, like, 10 minutes, just, like, 10 tension, like, scrubbing.
Oh, yeah, because you have to do, like, so many on each side of each orifice and each...
The scrub nurse was like, she told me to go scrub outside, and I came back like after 10 minutes. She's like, "What were you doing for so long?" Scrubbing, washing my hands.
Yeah, because then you're doing every crevice of every side of your finger and every front and back, and you're doing all the way down, all the way here. But you're doing it the hard bristle, then you're doing it with the soft bristle, and you're it's a lot. But no, it's you know what's so crazy? It's like it's super cool though that like what Tina was saying, when you get to be part of the team. Mm-hmm. As a nurse, you're part of the team. You are the team. Like, you are telling us what happened overnight. When I say us, I mean like the residents and attending. And and then there's those of us as med students. Like, I get really excited if I do have an opportunity to do stuff because to be honest, I've had experience where I was just standing there.
Yo, I try to get the med students.
And I was like, why am I here? And it was horrible. So I guess part of it is you just have to also be assertive, which is one thing that for me, I get very tentative when I'm in environments around people who like may or may not be like as welcoming as I would like. But I think that's a tip too. Like, when you're on your rotations, like, just be assertive, whether you're a nursing student or a medical student. Like, ask what you can do, and if they say no every single time, or they don't like look at you to give you something to do, you try, honey.
Yeah, at least you try.
Keep trying. Yep. And you can maybe ask someone else to be more willing, or like try to stay longer or come earlier. But like, you also have to study and pass your exam. So
Oh yeah, to all the aspiring doctors out there, speak life into them. You just
I'm not
try.
sure if that was life giving. Let's try that again.
Just try and just
let's try that
put
again.
yourself out
Just
there.
keep trying.
Put yourself out there.
Keep asking.
Yes.
There's always something that can be done.
Yeah.
And one thing that a senior resident mentioned not too long ago that I'm really keeping in mind, she was like, I can tell the difference between a third year and a fourth year medical student because like the fourth year medical student, like they know how to take initiative on things. Like there's something that I've never ever thought about is getting the little rolly computers in the hospital like right before we start rounds. Like we know we're gonna use them on rounds.
Yeah.
Just go ahead and grab them and take that initiative.
Yeah.
You hear them saying, okay, this pharmacy needs to be called. Oh, I'm called pharmacy. I got, make sure you have the numbers of the pharmacy and the COVID vaccine center and the laboratory written down on your little foldable clipboard. It's already always going to be in your white coat so you can take initiative. And like, even if you're like, it's okay, you can do it after rounds, you have volunteered yourself to be as helpful as possible.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like your ears are open, your eyes are open, your hands are open to what you can do to be helpful. And I think that as a third year med student, we're just still trying to get the ropes of things.
Yeah.
Maybe some people are really good at this. I can't speak for everyone, but I know for myself, I was always like waiting for them to tell me something to do. Like I'm like, okay, what can I do? How can I help?
In the beginning when we started off, we would like sort of observe how a medical team works and like because I didn't know some teams they take an iPad, some teams take the Rolly.
I've never seen an
laptop,
iPad.
There are some teams
I've never.
in the same hospital actually. Depends on like I guess the team of residents that was there. Sometimes we would take like an iPad, sometimes the Rolly a laptop or the computers. But really, yeah, like the fourth year sub-Is, they would take initiative and just they knew how the team worked.
They knew how the team worked. You're right.
When we're starting off as third year med students, we're sort of observing how an actual medical team works, what you need for rounds, how to present and all of that stuff. And then as you get the hang of it, you kind of become, you start taking initiative and then you eventually become an invaluable player of the team. So
yeah.
I don't know. That's deep. Invaluable player. I never even looked at myself.
Just so deep, y'all. Med students are a valuable part of the team. And
Thank you. That makes me feel some type of way.
I love med students. I love seeing them.
Feeling. That gives me a good
feels.
Like, would y'all be like, do med students, like, do they, if I ask a med student, do you want to help me clean a patient, will they?
Yeah.
If
they say no, that's so,
yes.
that would be so, like.
Honestly, I will say yes to anything.
Okay.
I think most people will say yes, but like also nurses, you're gonna communicate with our residents and our attendings, and we don't want to be like, that student is so like they're lazy, or that student doesn't care about the team or the
unless
patient.
we're like doing something. If it's a no, we can always come back to it. But most of the time, after you're done pre-rounding, after rounding, whatever, if you have a conference after that, some students still stay until like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Or they stay, if it's like a long call day, you can stay until like 7 or 8 at times, and it's just like the resident team wants the med student to do one admission from the ED, at least. So that time period between which we're waiting for like a new patient admission, we're kind of just sitting there studying. So yes, I would say yes to anything you ask me to do.
But y'all dress nice, and y'all got the white coats, and I'm just like, what if you get poop on it? Like, I see y'all med
we
students
can take
just-
off the white coat, and then for the most part with COVID, most people are actually wearing scrubs these days.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Unless you're in clinic or like
Yeah.
you're just like.
Well, yeah, it's mostly in clinic. Like some clinics want like a professional attire and then your white coat. But a lot of clinics are fine with scrubs. Hospitals, you're in scrubs anyways.
Yeah, and sometimes you gotta change it to the hospital scrubs, and you're like, the monotone.
Maybe it depends on the hospital,
Scrubs.
because there's some hospital. There was like one hospital I worked at, like the med students were wearing like really nice dress, like collared shirts, button up, khaki pants, like, or like skirts or professional attire, pretty much. But maybe those are our first.
Was that
years.
pre-pandemic?
Maybe they were shadowing. I don't know. It was
That
pre-pandemic. It was pre-pandemic.
That's why.
When we just had clinic day, I would wear just like regular business clothes.
Okay.
But if I was on gyne surgery or OB, I'd wear scrubs.
Yeah. Can I try the dessert?
Yes, you definitely should. It's so good.
It is really.
How did you pronounce that again?
Gulab jamun.
Gulab jamun, goat sag,
I don't want to do
goat curry, tandoori chicken, rice. We don't know what that is. We had mint.
It was
Mint
good.
chutney.
Mint chutney,
Yeah.
coconut water. Yo, we ate good.
Yeah.
I guess we asked Marian what her pros and cons of nursing are. What are your pros and cons of being a med student, or like, or since you started rotations, would you have changed to do something else? Like, I don't know. Whichever one you want to answer.
Like, since we came or went into rotations, do I regret my decision
to become a medical student?
No, absolutely not.
Launch into this journey.
Absolutely not. No. Okay. I mean, it is like our lives are super hectic, yes, but I'd rather be doing this than like doing an office job. This is a lot more fun.
And what have been your pros and cons thus far?
Cons, actually, okay. Let me back up.
Back it up.
Okay, sometimes it can get super hectic, so this leads me to like why I am very interested in radiology, partly because of the lifestyle. Like, it's not insanely hectic because I've observed like OB. It can get pretty hectic.
Yeah.
I know.
Why is she doing this to me? I still love it though.
Yes, you should.
We day 2.
Like,
I still love it though.
But like, I just don't want to do an office job. Well, I didn't have a plan B at all. Like, medicine was it. I wanted to be a doctor and I didn't have a plan B. So if it took me like the 3rd or 4th try to get into med school, I would have done it.
Persevere, Brad!
So, I don't regret my decision to attend medical school after starting 3rd year. But in terms of the pros, well, I met y'all!
Hey! Yeah, that's it. Period. That's it.
Period.
That's the number 1 pro. No cons.
You guys.
Your cons disappear because of us.
No, but it's a very humbling experience, and you get to learn a lot about yourself as a med student. Like, yes, the schedule is hectic, but a lot of it is left up to you to decide. Like, for the first 2 years, not so much because we do have lectures and we just have to study. But for 3rd year, your schedule is very hectic, and you have to be a very good planner.
Sure.
And be a very, very good planner. And just like, I guess that experience taught me how I like to learn a lot about myself, what my interests are, and in terms of those were the pros, right? Okay. Let me think. The hours. I don't love the hours all the time. The hours can get quite long, and then that's when I also get cranky.
Oh. And hangry.
And hangry. Yeah, and hangry. What about you, Aliah? What are your pros and cons of med school? Would you do it again?
Drum roll, please. The answer is yes. So, I have a lot of pros. I think that we've been afforded a lot of opportunities as medical students that are very unique, like being able to be exposed to learning about different diseases, learning more about anatomy, physiology, all of the sciencey things are so interesting. And then we get to actually like hear the team and or be invited to say what we think about what's going on with a patient. And I think that's like really remarkable and humbling. For me, I think like I felt extremely humbled like on my surgery rotation where someone's abdomen is just open, your hands are in the abdomen, you're assisting in the sense of like holding the
the utensil or
the utensils and making sure things are like visualized for the surgeon to see. And that's really like a small like little job, but the fact that you have an opportunity to do that, like how many people have an opportunity to see intestines outside of a Google image picture? How many people have seen an appendix and seen a Da Vinci robot doing laparoscopic surgery? Like,
while you're still alive. You're like still living and breathing, and they just cut you open, you just see the inside, you see the heart beating. That's really cool.
It's just incredible, and it's like, I think like it's humbling and it's rewarding, like things like that. And then when I meet a patient who's like, honey, you're so sweet, like, are you gonna be here tomorrow? Can I bring you some dumplings or something? I don't even eat dumplings, but I'm like, yo, thank you. Or like when I meet other students in my med school and we're like able to just kind of like de-stress together, talk and laugh like I have with Tina, or like if I have like students under me who are just like asking for advice, or pre-meds, like Tina and I were just at a panel not too long ago and we got to like talk to them. That makes me so happy because like I feel like we're playing a part to like help patients, help students, help our colleagues, and I just like helping people. Like, it makes me happy. Like, that's my passion. And so the journey is long. I feel like it's the con, but like, you can't cut corners here, right? Like, you're gonna have people's lives on your hands. You're gonna work on a team, and you need to know what you're doing. And I think like that makes it overwhelming, but it also makes it exciting. I think for me, like, imposter syndrome actually became triple fold when I became into third year, because like I just feel like the time in the day is not enough for that. So that's my con. The time of the day not being long enough, right? Like, I need more time to study. I need more time to prepare. And I need time to just like rest and chill and do what I want to do. But unfortunately, we can't stretch 24 hours. So
when you go into clinic the next day and then you get your patient, it's like, you're going to be a great doctor.
Yeah.
And
I'm like, you know, you were hard to yourself too. That's a pro. That's like such a pro. It affirms you in your journey. Like, I think that, that's it. Like,
when you are experiencing the symptoms of imposter syndrome, and the patient just comes along and says like, you're gonna make it big one day.
You gonna make it. Mama made it. Look what I made it.
It makes me so happy. And then like, I don't know. I just think it's the con also is just like feeling like overwhelmed about everything that looms ahead. Because I'm not sure how many people know like how the journey is. Like, some of us completed undergrad and did a master's before starting. Some of us came straight. Some of us did 3 masters before starting. Some of us had families before starting. You know, like, so there's all these things, but we, like Tina was saying, we don't care if it was first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. We knew this is what we were going to do. And so when we get in here, we're doing it, but it's hard and it's tough. And there's a lot of things that you have to take the initiative to teach yourself too, and be on top of, and find the learning style that works for you. So I'm not saying that it's a con. I'm just saying that like how overwhelmed I feel and like how stressed I feel sometimes. And I'm like, I'm just a medical student. Like, I'm not even a resident. I'm not even attending. Like, every level has more and more that will be on me. So I'm like, the con is just like me figuring out, like, feeling overwhelmed that I haven't figured out how to be just more confident in myself yet. And I think that's, you know, something that hopefully by the time I graduate from med school, I'll be like, okay, that transition from student doctor to doctor will help me some, but it's a learning.
I think that comes with time.
That
and
just being put into that situation, like, we can handle it now being third year med students. Imagine us doing this when we were in first year. I would be just overwhelmed by like thinking about it. But I was actually talking to a resident one day and I was just asking her like, how do you handle upwards of 8 patients and not mix them up all the time? She's like, I mix them up all the time, but like she takes the time to all of them. They take a significant amount of time going through the patient's charts, talking to the patient, and just like going and seeing the patient and just saying hi, how are you doing, any abdominal pain, any headache, stuff like that. That can just like associate the case with the if you're associating like the case with the face, it helps you remember all of their diseases so much more.
No face, no case.
But I was telling her like, I mix up 3 patients that I'm following. How are you doing 8? And she's just like, it's honestly, when you're put into the situation, you just make up strategies to help yourself. And I think we're going to be absolutely fine when we're residents. We're going to be amazing residents.
I mean, that's how it's been like with nursing students. I mean, med students too. Like, I wasn't confident when I was a nursing student. Like, starting an IV, I was like shaking, like putting my first IV. But then like after you like have your successful IV, or after you put in your first successful Foley, like you feel good afterwards. And like, and like usually like repetition, that's when you start to like get good at it. Like, that's when you start to, and so like now like the nurses, like the new grads, like ask me for like their like to help them with their lab draws or IVs because like being a nurse of like 4 years, I think. Oh my gosh, like it's helped me develop that skill. So like, okay, like I'm good, because then nurses always ask, how good are you at IVs? And I'll be like, I'm decent, because sometimes it's like an 80-20 success fail ratio. Sometimes it's 60-40. But like, I try not to like, I try to like level myself down, because I don't want to set myself up for failure in case I do miss. But yeah, no, like confidence definitely comes with time. And I feel like those like nursing students or med students out there, you know, like just like, also patients they can tell like whether or not like you have the confidence or whether or not you feel confident in yourself. And what my preceptor like would always teach me is that like like, pretend you do know something that even you, like, pretend that you know something that you don't, like, or, like, try, like, to feel, like,
fake it till you make it.
Fake it till you make it, because the patients who, like, see how uncertain you are will not trust you. They won't trust you, so, like, fake it till you make it. But also, like, just be confident and, like, just, like, be, okay, I'm taking care of you, and, like, I got you, bro. Like, just, and then, like, if you have a question, be like, oh, let me just double check with my, charge nurse, but to be sure, or, like, if you don't know an answer, like, let me check with my resident, you know, like,
literally.
Yeah, it's good to, like, have, like,
and
a questioning
attitude.
attitude.
Not know, like, we're still in the learning phase. Even residents are also in the learning phase. And it's totally okay not to know something and to tell the patient that we're just going to go confirm with the team about the plan or whatnot, and then we'll get back to you.
Yeah, so there's nothing wrong with that. So, but yeah.
I feel like we had a great chat tonight, y'all.
Yeah,
the dinner was bomb. And having Marian on our show. We really appreciate you all watching. Like we always say, please like our video, comment down below, especially put in things that you want to see or hear us record. Like we're totally open to suggestions. If you want us to do another mukbang with like a different like ethnic cuisine, please suggest a cuisine. And also, like, please just also share our videos with other people. And if there's anything that stuck out to you, please don't hesitate to, like, you know, just share it in the chat box. If you want to follow Marian, we'll put her Instagram below, I guess. She also sometimes does, like, Instagram live stuff, right? Like, where you ask, like, no, wait, what? She did? Okay, listen.
I did like video.
Well, you did one time, like, where she's, like, any people interested in, like, travel nursing or, like, anything, asking questions. So, if you or anyone you know is interested in nursing, definitely try to connect with her.
Love to help y'all out.
Yeah, but we appreciate you guys watching and staying tuned, especially if you're still watching this long.
Thank you for watching.
We appreciate it. Air high!